Attorney Louis Shapiro. Louis, thanks so much for your time today.
You got it. Good to be here.
Let's go ahead and start with your reaction to all of this. What are your thoughts into the DOJ announcing that they're going to be looking into the events in Uvalde?
We saw this coming. It's no surprise that after the public outrage and delay that we heard from law enforcement in going in, including the almost an admission of culpability, saying we did this wrong and we apologize for it, it was just a matter of time until the DOJ came forward and said, we need to investigate this further.
Let's talk about that admission of culpability, because we all saw it happen and unfold live in a news conference with one of the law enforcement officials there who basically said, hey, yeah, maybe that shouldn't have happened, right? So he did say that mistakes were made in the process. How does that affect this investigation?
Well, on one hand, it might have been law enforcement's way of getting ahead of this and trying to quell some of that tension and animosity that was going towards them from the parents and the public. But overall, the anger and the grief is so great that I don't think any apology is going to help in that goal. So overall, that is going to be a damaging statement. The question is, how far will that statement stretch to? How many law enforcement officers, how many agencies, how deep will that go if it gets to a federal prosecutor?
So now that this review has been announced, what happens next? What is the process? And truthfully, Louis, do these types of investigations typically work? I mean, we know that the DOJ was involved after the Pulse nightclub shooting, after the Parkland shooting. What typically is the outcome here?
So typically the DOJ gets involved to see how situations can be improved next time, what we can learn from it in terms of profiling, reaction, response, and safety and training and so forth. And in fact, safety training protocols have been put into place as a result of previous investigations, particularly out of Sandy Hook. In this case, it's unusual, though. In this case, there's going to be probably more of a thorough search into criminality. Was there negligence by law enforcement? In other words, they were trained to go in and right away confront an active shooter. The opposite took place, and about an hour went by until there was an actual confrontation between law enforcement and the shooter. So the DOJ is going to want to investigate why this happened, who made those decisions, who could have made a different decision, and what fatalities, if any, resulted as a result of that delay in time. We don't know exactly when the deaths occurred. Did they occur right in the beginning when the shooter went in? Did they occur over the hour that there was a lag in time to law enforcement went in? So those types of details need to be fleshed out. Cell phone, text messages, interviews, there will be a very thorough investigation. Once it's completed, it will be presented to the U.S. Attorney's Office to present to a grand jury and decide if they want to proceed with criminal prosecution.
All right, and you're talking about federal criminal charges in this matter. And one of the things that you had just mentioned is people are outraged. They are heartbroken. The families in this case are heartbroken over the situation. What is the recourse for these families at the end of the day? Is there any way to sue in civil court? Can they go after the gun maker? What kind of recourse do the families have?
So on the civil side, there are a few options. One is they can go after or try to go after the school district for failing to lock all the doors during school activity time. Apparently, the gunman was able to get right through an unlocked door on campus, so there could be a negligence claim right there. That's one level. Second level is law enforcement themselves, local law enforcement. Did they show any negligence in terms of how they reacted to the situation? And then finally, the third level is the actual gun maker. This is interesting. Many people wouldn't think that a plaintiff could connect liability to a gun maker who wasn't even present. They're just merely selling the guns. But we have seen this in Remington, a recent lawsuit where they paid out about $70 million to victims in a shooting matter. So in this case, the actual manufacturer of the gun is known to be a heavy marketer. And that is the theory of liability. They are marketing direct to consumer, to teenagers, to children, advertising commercials or ads where they're showing, look, you like playing Call of Duty? These are the exact type of weapons we sell. You can play Call of Duty in real life, so to speak. They may not be saying that exactly, but the messaging that is being sent to the youth is this can be the next step in your handling of weapons. And based on that, there are actual rationales and ways liability can attach in court through them.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think exactly 1 week before the shooting happened, Daniel Defense, what was the gun maker in this case, tweeted out a photo of a toddler holding one of their weapons. So it's going to be interesting to see at the end of the day how this all kind of plays out. Federal and criminal defense attorney Louis Shapiro, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
You got it.
So to come on Newsy Live on this Memorial Day, we're taking a look where the federal effort stands to help veterans who suffered illness or even death from